Each year, Hollywood manages to deliver a handful of performances that are so memorable, you crave to know more about the people behind them. And each year, The Hollywood Reporter brings together some of those people to talk about their craft. For The Hollywood Reporter RoundTable, how do you not get stale? How do you recreate yourselves?
Panic. Desperation. Ambition, ego.
Bills.
Is there a lot of film, seriously?
And we did something special, but if I was bad in one scene, it's impossible to let go, and you know, it can make or break my day a little bit. But I think as I've gotten older, I've just accepted that that's part of the process.
What do you do to get over that fear?
You know, if I drank, I would probably drink a lot. You know, I don't know, but I think you keep working. I think it goes back around to fear is the greatest motivator.
It is a motivator.
Yeah, and it's important just to use it. It's artillery, right?
Have you ever said no to something because you're afraid?
Oh yeah, I've talked myself out of auditions 100 times.
Like for what?
It's just because it's the
And
most
it's usually
awkward.
those auditions that end up, that's the job that
Exactly,
you get.
you know what I mean? But
You're sitting in the waiting room and you're going, I gotta get the
exactly. I auditioned for De Niro 7 times, and that way, I mean, each time I was like, I'm not going to do this again. I can't even remember, but it was years and years ago. I remember one time I was auditioning for Terrence Malick, and the casting director had upended a couch, and we were supposed to hide behind it and shoot imaginary guns.
That's the worst audition ever.
Come on.
Pop auditions is the worst. I hate.
You know, and so it's easy to kind of let fear be like, you know, this is ridiculous. And in that audition, I literally stood up, took a few imaginary bullets. I'm sure I died in some weird world. And I said, I can't do this. This is like a bad high school play. I can't do it. And I walked out, and then Terrence called me and said, you know, you guys, I'm sure have met him, but he's the most gentle and amazing guy in the world. And he's like, Jared, I'd love you to be in my film. So I was like, oh, it worked, you know. But
has anyone ever thought of quitting acting altogether?
I did for 6 years almost.
6 years you didn't work for?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I realized is we never, I don't remember, maybe I was just out of my mind, but we never rehearsed.
No.
Like we didn't have a rehearsal period.
No.
Which was great.
I like the way you say maybe I was out of my mind. Did you have a lot of takes? Or
No, it was incredibly fast, and this film was really fascinating because there was no lighting. When you turned around, it was like cameras kept rolling. It was like, okay, and I mean, it was so
interesting. Let's take a look at that performance.
Do you like this dress? Because I think the neckline's a little plunging.
Rayon, the whole purpose of this study is to determine if ACT is helping people.
Come on, Evie, you know there ain't no helping me.
That doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying.
Why are you so good to me? Bless your little heart.
Just promise me you'll show up for the rest of the trial.
I promise you that I will try my very best.
I want you to mean it.
Okay.
When you watch your performances, what's your biggest critique of yourself?
I don't watch performance. I've seen a couple of my films only. And, you know, I know that's kind of a cliche. Maybe people say that, and maybe people actually do that. But maybe there's...
You've not seen any films you've been in?
No, I've seen a couple. Yeah, I saw Requiem. Darren, like, dragged me. I didn't want to see. I've never wanted to see a film that I was in.
Have you seen Dallas Buyers?
No.
Do you plan to?
And it was great because no looping. I mean, what a movie. No looping and no lighting and no rehearsal.
What it is with
working with Fincher is that you know no matter what, when you walk off that set, you are taken care of.
Totally.
I mean, that's the most amazing feeling for an actor.
But what's it like
know
when
it's
you're
good.
on the set and you have to do 60 takes of a close-up?
Oh, who cares? I mean, as long as you have someone fighting to make it great.
I agree.
That's what the difference is. I mean, apathy and just neglect or mediocrity or ego or anything. I mean, I've been on the set too with greatness that's been shattered by, you know, drugs and abuse and someone, you know, off in the corner smoking a joint when they should have been focusing on the project and the script. But that feeling is one of the best feelings in the world as an artist, to have that support from.
How does the rock world compare with Hollywood?
The rock world.
It's just longer hair and
I am
shorter
the
hair.
speaker, representative of rock and roll. Well, it's completely different, you know. With music, when I get up on stage, I'm me, and more of myself maybe than I ever am. I think the big difference with acting is you're being a service, which is a great way to look at it, to a role, a script, a director, an editor, a cinematographer, your other actors. One, you're more of who you are, and then in the other, you're representing a
You
role.
played transsexual in Dallas Buyers Club. What was the
Yeah.
toughest thing about becoming that role?
The waxing.
Yes.
I was
The
smooth.
Brazilian wax.
But I have to say I had very nice calves.
Did you shave your legs?
I waxed my legs. Oh yeah, man, I was a pro. I didn't want that stubble growing back. And I remember I waxed my eyebrows too. And you hear these stories, you know, of you know, people. You see the old lady who's got like two hairs left in her eyebrows. But I waxed them a couple of times through shooting, and you know, the third time that I did it, the makeup lady, "You sure you want to do this? Because I don't know. You know, I just don't know if they're going to come back, you know."
Were you hesitant about taking that role?
Yeah, I said no, definitely. They asked me to read the script a few times. I hadn't made a movie in a really long time. I mean, there's no exaggeration there. It was almost 6 years.
This is the first one in 6 years.
the first time I've
Wow.
made a film in 6
Do you get
years.
rusty?
Probably. But I tell you what,
Takes one good waxing and you're
one good wax. You put on those high heels and you see that little bubble butt. It was more like a bone in my case, jut out, and you're all good. I tell you what, though, honest to God, I just kind of blew it off because I was busy, and I was in Berlin, and I remember hearing that Matthew was involved, and I think that was one of the most important elements, because I didn't know about the director, but I knew that Matthew was doing the project. And I knew he'd already started losing weight, and I had done that before as well. And, you know, the great thing, weight, whatever, okay, you look skinny, wow, it's so crazy, you committed to... But the great thing about losing the weight is it sets the bar for yourself as well. If you make that commitment, you know you're going to deliver. At least I do. And I thought, if this guy is willing to do this, there's got to be something special, and I want to get in the ring with him right now, because he's killing it.
3, 2, 1, action!
I need security on the fourth floor right away. Yes, now!
I did this Skype. It wasn't really an audition, but it's Skype with the director. It was kind of an audition. I just didn't read anything. It was a test, you know. But I used it as a test for both of us. And, you know, we connected via Skype. I was in Berlin. Easy to blow it off, though. Go back to the fear thing of, like, I don't want to get, you know, sit here with some director and some little project that is going to break my heart again, which is another reason to take 5 years off after you've had your heart broken. You know, you pour everything that you have into something and it just doesn't work. Director drops the ball, doesn't, you know, who knows? But anyway, I did the Skype with Jean-Marc, and I said, hi, how you doing?
Jean-Marc Vallée, the
Yeah, the director, and said, hi, how you doing? And I reached over and I got some lipstick and I put it on and undid I had a pea coat on, did the peak code.
This is on Skype?
On Skype, which makes it all the more interesting, in my opinion.
It'll also be on iTunes.
Yes. So I take off this heavy winter coat, and I have a little pink sweater on underneath, and I just started to feel it out, and I used it as a kind of a test for myself as well as him to see, okay, what do I have to offer in this space? And, you know, I flirted with him a little bit, woke up, and I got the job.
I mean, there's so much insecurity, and you're so vulnerable as an actor. How do you get over that? How do you? I mean, there's so much rejection all the time.
You know, I've read about people, you know, interesting directors that spend time with people rather than audition, and you know, I think maybe that would be really nice, but it is an incredibly strange process. If you've had some success, to go in and kind of let your ego and let your pride maybe get affected.
I'd like to thank everyone who's here: Michael B. Jordan, Jake Gyllenhaal, Jared Leto, Matthew McConaughey, Forrest Whitaker, Josh Brolin for taking part in the Hollywood Reporter Roundtable series.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. It's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much. To learn more about the Hollywood Reporter Roundtables, visit thr.com/roundtables.